with the Aggies for Anderson. And Jay Norvell, you mentioned, having in his 4th season, back-to-back 7-win campaigns, but they think they can challenge for the Mountain West title this year.
Yeah, it's really up in the air as far as obviously going into this season. People thought Boise State was the team to beat. Wyoming, Nevada thought of 2 teams that could challenge them for that. Nevada's already beat Wyoming this year. So another big opportunity here tonight for Nevada.
We'll see how the Wolfpack do at home. 2-0 on the season. Beat Wyoming in overtime. A wild game, 37-33 the final 2 weeks ago. And last week in Las Vegas, dispatched UNLV 37-19. Off we go in Reno. And this kick is fielded by Jamal Bell. Gets a block, bowls over a man, gets to the 25-yard line, and that is where Carson Strong will begin. Well, opening week, he was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week. Last week in Encore, 420 yards against UNLV.
I mean, he's been outstanding so far this year. You talk to this coaching staff, offensive coordinator Matt Mumme. They just said, hey, it's been fun watching him play. And the thing I want you to keep an eye on tonight, too, is just the flexibility he has at the line of scrimmage. He's in total control of this offense. There's parameters around him being able to get in and out of plays, but he's generally in the driver's seat as far as getting this team in the right play and moving the ball down the field.
First play from scrimmage. It's out in the flat and caught by Romeo Dubs. We'll come close to a first down, maybe a half-yard short as we give you a look at the Nevada offense starting up front. Their captain, Jermaine Ledbetter, a senior JUCO transfer on the left side of the offensive line. And so much, yes, will be part of the air raid for Nevada, but they have some pretty good runners as well. Toa Taua, 35 in navy blue. Little pitch on a jet sweep for Melquan Stovall. He's tackled for a loss by Shaq Bond.
Yeah, you mentioned Toa Taua. He's a back that has plenty of explosiveness. He's a really physical back, too, and he lets them run the football. We talk about air raid, but they will run the football quite a bit with him.
Now, the question is, how will this Aggies defense stack up? They allowed 570 yards of total offense last week to San Diego State, led by Shaq Bond and Cash Gilliam in tackles on the season, but they've been on the field a lot. 2nd and 14 now from the Nevada 31. And the first call for Devontae Lee, their number 2 back. He's ripped down a yard shy of the line to gain.
And Adam, this is the dilemma for Stacy Collins and this Utah State defense. Oftentimes, Carson Strong is going to come up to the line of scrimmage, assess how many guys are in that box between the tackles, and he'll just count. And it's a numbers game. If they feel like they have an advantage with their offensive line, he's going to turn and hand the ball off to Devontae Lee and Toa Taua. Big plays like that on the ground, keep the ball moving.
Gain of 12. There's Lee again. And this time he's tackled short. Got back to the original line, brought down by Kevin Metzenheimer. No gain, 4th down.
That's a good job by the Utah State defense. They've really struggled to defend the run the last couple of weeks. We talked about last week against San Diego State, ran for over 400 yards against them. Now, I mentioned earlier, they put their defense in a bind quite a bit because it's tough because offense isn't prolonging drives.
They're going to go for it here on 4th and 2. It's only the 2nd time they've gone for it. 4th down, a short yardage situation, and we have a timeout. Perhaps to draw him offside, not sure. But they burn one in the opening series. So this is an interesting call early on in the game. First series for Nevada. They are 0 for 1 on 4th downs this year.
You can't be that surprised, though, Adam.
No.
We've talked about the success they've had, right? And we're talking about a team that's averaging roughly 500 yards a game offensively. Feels really good about what they have up front on offense, on the offensive line. Loves their quarterback, and then we're going to see him in a lot of 10 personnel today, which is 1 running back and 4 wide receivers. The tight end position's a little bit tough for them right now, but, you know, I mean, well, Cole Turner obviously is considered a tight end, but kind of plays the wide receiver role. So we're going to see them spread it out quite a bit.
So out of the timeout, they'll keep the offense on the field. Dubs lines up at the top of your picture with Carson Strong. He's already thrown for 3,100 plus yards in his career. early moment of this game as Utah State shows pressure. They bring it. And Tawa is tackled for a loss in the backfield, and the Wolfpack turn it over on downs. A big play from Kevin Metzenheimer.
What an outstanding job by Kevin Metzenheimer. This is one of their leaders on defense, probably the smartest player on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive coordinator Stacy Collins mentioned several times this week, he just does a great job of diagnosing things quickly at the second level of the defense and coming up and making a play. I'm actually kind of surprised with the play call. Initially, they had Romeo Doubs out there by himself with about a 6-yard cushion. And I thought we'd see Carson Strong go out there with the ball, but good job by the Utah State defense here early.
Honestly, that's a huge boost for a team that has given up an average of 40 points per game. They'll have a short field to start. And the first touch for Devin Tompkins. Jason Shelley is their quarterback, the junior out of Frisco, Texas, a transfer from Utah.
Yeah, he's had some struggles in the drop-back game this year, being a consistent passer. He's like roughly 56% on the season with passing. They want to see him extend plays a little more with his legs, get outside the pocket and extend plays. Nevada had trouble containing that quarterback last week against UNLV.
Shelley steps up, heaves downfield, and he overthrows his man. Intended for Jordan Nathan, his 32nd career start today.
Yeah, Jordan Nathan on the outside, one of the most experienced guys on this team, a senior wide receiver, ends up just running right by the defender, Burdale Robbins. Ball just outstretched over the arms, just a tad overthrown. But again, Jason Shelley's ability to extend plays can be an asset for this offense today. I referenced last week, Nevada and UNLV, they struggled to keep the quarterback in the pocket. That's something I think Utah State in this offense with Bodie Reeder want Jason Shelley to do pretty regularly.
3rd down and 8. From the Nevada 38, and Shelley, designed run, cut down immediately. Either that or there was some sort of miscommunication because there was nothing doing.
Shelley ends up taking off to his right, kind of an option play. He reads 35 on the edge and just cuts it up inside. Utah State struggled quite a bit last week with 3 and outs. 7 of their 11 possessions they punted, 3 turnovers, and 4 3 and outs. And I mentioned too, against this Nevada offense, it's going to be important for them to try to possess the ball a bit. Not put it back in their hands so quickly.
Yeah, with a short field too. That's a missed opportunity early in this game as ball down at the 5-yard line. So
change the picture defensively. He adjusts a lot of things at the line of scrimmage. Don't make it easy for him to diagnose what you're doing. Confuse him a little bit, make him uncomfortable. That could be the difference maker for Utah State.
Wolfpack start their own 5-yard line, and Strong in the end zone, in trouble. He'll be taken down for a safety. Sacked in the end zone by A.J. Vongpachon. And his 2nd sack of the season is a costly one for Nevada. How about this start for the Utah State defense?
Well, what a start for the Utah State defense. We were told number 98, A.J. Vongpachon, we know we'd see more of him today as opposed to last week. He's in there for Cash Gilliam, getting some more snaps this week. He's a bigger guy, a former defensive end. Gets in there and makes a big play in the end zone to get 2 points for the Utah State offense to start things off.
Wow. And you're going up against, right now, the top threat in the Mountain West in terms of offense right now. Yeah. San Jose State's put up some great numbers offensively, but Nevada, we expect, will be the top offense by season's end. And forced to punt, turning it over, or rather forced on a 4th down, turn it over on downs, and then taking a sack in the end zone for a safety.
Well, and I think you had a great question this week to head coach Jay Norvell from Nevada. You said, Coach, short week here. You guys have had so much success at 2-0. Is there kind of a worry of a letdown playing a team that's 0-2 in Utah State that's basically desperate at this point, right, to come out and play good football and get a win? And he acknowledged that. He said, yeah, no one wants to play an 0-2 football team. Like, they're going to be due at some point, right? Now, we'll see how this thing plays out, but it's clear early on, defensively especially, the energy on this Utah State defense is through the roof right now. Made some key plays to start this game.
So already it's been a challenge. This compounds things just a bit. Their usual kickoff unit has been impacted this week with a player unavailable. Julian Diaz usually works kickoffs. But instead, it is Matt Freem who boots this one all the way down to the 2, but out of bounds. So compounding the issues, another short field for Utah State. Let's go back to the safety here.
Yeah, you see A.J. Vongphachanh at the defensive end. He actually up top of that defensive end position. Ends up coming a little bit delayed there at the end. He's really not coming in pass rush, right? He's playing that edge, trying to hold contain, and really a zone defender out on that flat. Ends up coming on a delayed rush. I think Carson Strong ends up holding on to the ball longer than he had originally anticipated. Ends up going down.
So Utah State will start at the 35 after the illegal procedure. This is a reprieve for Jason Shelley and the Aggies offense, who sputtered on their first drive. 3 and out moments ago. Shelley zips it over the middle. A diving catch made by Devin Tompkins, a junior from Fort Myers, Florida.
And yeah, given the struggles of Jason Shelley, 56% on the year completion percentage, it's going to be important to get him easy completions early on. And Devin Tompkins is that guy. You can see him move around in the slot quite a bit. He's great against man-to-man. Quarterback-friendly target.
Let's see how fast they run here. That's been a trademark as this play goes nowhere on first down. For 3 years with Jordan Love at the helm, this is a team that could very much put up points, was lightning quick on offense, but drafted in the first round in the NFL, the successor to Aaron Rodgers, if you will.
It's not just him either, too. Losing Gerald Bright from a year ago, Siosi Mariner, their top receiver. There's a lot of transitions and adjustments for a young ball club with a new offensive coordinator as well in Bodie Reeder.
2nd down and 9. To the outside, this is Tompkins again. He has been the featured target. That's 3 times now. 3rd down coming.
Getting the ball out of Jason Shelley's hands quickly once again to Devin Tompkins. Had our only touchdown last week was to him, an outstanding player on the outside. Now, one of the things we have to acknowledge, too, is the defenses this Utah State team has seen so far this year, right? Boise, San Diego State, I mean, those are big challenges. And Nevada has not shown to be that type of defense so far this year. So you get the sense this offense is optimistic they can get something going.
3rd and 5 after the 4-yard pickup. And Shelley under duress. It's complete again to Tompkins, but he'll be short. And will they go for it on 4th down? Looks like Shelley is jogging off the field. So they pick up 1 first down.
I don't think Shelley's very happy about that either.
Don't blame him. But given what they just did to Nevada, pinning them deep wouldn't be the worst thing. Nels Halton to punt it away. Excuse me, Christopher Bartolek to punt it away. And a fair catch.
Difficult to tell if he probably should have taken a little bit off that. That's a ball that should be caught, but it was coming in hot on Milquan Stovall, and that's how balls get tipped off, too. Be careful about that. Tips and overthrows, man.
2nd down for the 8 as Taua breaks through the first wave and gets 6 on the play. 3rd down coming.
You get the sense from this Nevada offense that it's only a matter of time until we see them take a shot to Romeo Doubs. You see their number 7. Early in the game last week, made a game-changing play. And if I'm Utah State, I'm doing everything I can. Kind of like approaching it like Bill Belichick. I'm doing what I can to take him out of the game. If I have to double-team him, I will. Make somebody else on this offense beat you through the air.
Doubs, the top receiver by yards in the Mountain West through 2 weeks. On 3rd down, Strong connects over the middle for a first down. That's his favorite tight end target, Cole Turner. Gain of 13.
Yeah, for Utah State, you get in these down and distance situations. The dilemma is, do I bring pressure, do I blitz, or do I only bring 3 and drop into zone? The problem is we got an accurate passer like Carson Strong and a big target like Cole Turner. It's tough to stop that, even in tight zone windows.
Turner moved from wide receiver to tight end this year. A few more blocking responsibilities. And we have a whistle before the snap. Flag comes in.
Prior to the snap, previous plays under further review.
We'll take a look at this to see if it is indeed a catch.
It happened quickly, and they reset the ball.
Yeah.
Before it was able to tell. But again, Cole Turner, converted wide receiver actually on the outside, now labeled as a tight end. Typically plays that slot receiver position, but they'll line up and move him in, put his hand on the ground as your kind of your prototypical tight end. He'll block defensive ends, which he's getting a lot better at to help them run the football more consistently. But he's been a weapon for them. Would be his 12th catch on the year. A couple touchdowns in the opener. So often that air raid tight end or the air raid wide position is nothing more than a fourth wide receiver. But
we've got Dean Blandino here with us tonight. What did you see on this play? It's a pretty tight one, it looked like.
It's really close. It's a low pass, and the key is going to be if the ball hits the ground without control. I definitely see some movement, but I also see a hand right near the football. I can't tell if the ball is loose. It's close, but I haven't seen anything definitive to overturn yet.
Dean, it seems like with catch, no catch these days, how often are they deferring to the call on the field versus re-officiating the play from the booth? It feels like almost like targeting now, where they re-officiate the whole thing from the top.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't be re-officiating from the top, right? That's just targeting. You always start, the basic premise of replay is the call on the field is correct, and it has to be indisputable to overturn it. That's why if there's any doubt, if you find yourself saying, I think, or maybe, you have to revert back to the ruling on the field.
So we'll see here. About out of time on the review. The only thing that would add on in terms of timing to this would be the time and the yardage.
It's an interesting point Dean makes there. Like I said, oftentimes with catch, no catch, it feels like we're starting over, right? But it is important to note that this was called a catch on the field, so it's got to be clear and obvious.
A lengthy review, things considered. Cal McNeil, referee, waiting on word from J. Bruce Bain up in the replay booth, this Mountain West crew. If you're just joining us, Utah State, after pinning Nevada deep, their own 5-yard line, coming up with a safety, take a 2-0 lead. And here is Cam McNeil with the call.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground before incomplete pass. 4th down.
Clear and obvious, right? So I ask you this. Is that clear and obvious that his arm wasn't under the ball? It does move, like Dean said. There's no question it moves. But is it clear and obvious that his arm wasn't under, shielding it from actually impacting the ground and the ground making it move? That's the question, right?
It's a significant turn of events here. It wipes away a 13-yard completion, brings up 4th down. Nevada will have to punt it away. And just as it seemed like maybe they were figuring things out.
And look, if you're Utah State's defense, this Nevada offense is a rhythm-based offense, right?
Yep.
And you've gotten them out of their rhythm. That's now 3 possessions where they've actually lost points on one of them. They've turned it over on downs on one, a safety on another, and now a punt backed up. This is a huge win for Gary Anderson and his Utah State defense.
So the punt will drift to about the 38. And wow, how about the coverage downfield?
25 games at the University of Utah. 14 carries on the season coming into this game. It's a big part of this offense.
2nd down. Off the fake handoff. Shelley takes off. So that read option comes into play again, and Shelley picks up a 1st down after a 13-yard run.
This is a counter read. So you're going to bring those 2 backside tackles and pull them over, and then that backside player on the defense, that's the quarterback's responsibility. So he tucks it, gets some positive yards.
And another 5 here on 1st down with Henry Cole.
Because of Shelley's athleticism, a lot of what they do in the run game has that read option tagged on the backside. Shelley's just got to do a good job of reading that backside defender. That's his guy. And if that guy commits to the running back, he's got to tuck that thing and get yards. They're relying on him to be able to do that.
Pulls it back again. Shelley gets a block. There he goes. Shelley tucks and dives before he's hauled down inside the 20-yard line. Another electric run, 21 yards for Shelley.
Well, this is a really well-designed play by Bodie Reeder. You watch tight end Carson Terrell. They're glad to have him back as well. The senior tight end ends up being a lead blocker after the keep by Jason Shelley, getting positive yards down the field. We thought we'd see more of him scrambling in the run game to extend plays and be a check down. We're seeing a lot more of him in just the QB read game as well. We're seeing it again right here. More of a QB draw.
Tackle made here by Dom Peterson, but not after a pickup of 7.
Yeah, this is just a design quarterback run, a quarterback draw, really. His eyes go downfield, sells the draw. And once again, he gets Carson Terrell pulling around to be his lead blocker at the line of scrimmage.
Give him an 8th. And again, 2nd and 2. Shelley fires to the end zone, too hot to handle into tight coverage. Burdale Robbins was marking Jordan Nathan.
Yeah, the timing was good. They've had some success on a couple run plays here on this drive. That time going with some play action to Jordan Nathan. They'll sprinkle in some RPO as well, but they will still do some base play action. We got a penalty here at the end of the play.
You know what's also been impressive here? I'll wait for the call.
Pass interference, number 1, defense. Ball be placed in spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
Late flag. After the play, thought it was, we'll see what the replay shows here, but at first glance didn't seem like much.
Yeah, it looked like he might have gotten there a tad early, but kind of a bang-bang play. Nathan does a decent job selling it, too, and looking around. This ball come out. I think there was some contact before he comes into the frame there. Ends up drawing the flag.
On misdirection, it's Tompkins who scampers in. And Utah State has run out to an early lead on Nevada.
Well, we asked Bodie Reeder this week, the offensive coordinator at Utah State, how do you get Jason Shelley going? He just said, look, guys, I got to cut him loose. I got to let him go. Got another flag here as well. Another late flag, too. That's the second late one in a row. Might have had someone downfield here.
Holding, number 10, offense. Foul occurred in the end zone. Be 10 yards from the goal line. You play first down.
Justin McGriff, the Z wideout, sophomore from Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, Justin McGriff is on the outside blocking, and this ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage. I believe it was thrown backwards, so therefore Justin McGriff can be down the field blocking. Ends up holding on just too long for a penalty.
Another flag comes in. This time appears to be on the snap. Let's go back to the last play.
Ball start, number 77, offense.
You see Justin McGriff on the outside, number 10.
You play first down.
The hole right there. Right when he gets outside the framework of 10's body, got to let him go.
Boy, this has turned into a mini disaster here. What could have been a touchdown wiped away. Another 5 yards pushed back after the false start. And now it's 1st and goal from the 15. Shelley to the end zone. And miscommunication with Justin McGriff. He never turned back to look at the ball.
Yeah, we thought we'd see more of this inside the red zone as well. Justin McGriff, in his first year in the program, 6'6", 220-pound wide receiver on the outside. And the key thing here is just be able to get off press coverage. The defender, the defender does a nice job pushing him wide towards the line of scrimmage, not leaving much room for Jason Shelley to throw the football. It's a good defensive play, but that's a weapon for Utah State on the outside to keep an eye on. It's a big receiver at 6'6".
There's Jalen Warren. And Warren with his second touch of the ball game. Will inch forward. Gets 7. 3rd and a long goal to go.
Suspect that won't be the first time we call Dom Peterson's name tonight. The Nevada defensive linemen's their most active, biggest force up front. It's the game changer on the defensive line position.
Going quickly here. They may have drawn him offside. Unless it was a flinch that did it.
Oh, Utah State's moving with some tempo, huh?
Yeah. And they said that they're going to keep some of those elements from previous offensive regime. Jordan Love, Matt Wells coaching. 4th penalty in the last 6 snaps.
Jason Shelley using the hard count a little bit there.
Offsides, number 53, defense. 5-yard penalty. Excuse me. At the distance, we play 3rd down.
Zach Mahana, senior, right here in Reno. Promotion from the scout team over the summer. Feels like this has been forever. They have been with goal to go here. From the Nevada 4, lob pass caught for a touchdown. McGriff hauls it in. And Utah State, after all that, is able to find Pater.
We just said 1 minute ago about this big 6'6" target on the outside. They want to get him more involved today. Instead of running the fade, now they go with the slant on the goal line. Let him get that big body in front of the defender. Well, that's a tall task for a defensive back to try to guard a guy of that size. Nice stick on the outside. Ends up going kind of with a second window throw there.
Be Indiana, based on the way Michigan's gone. But that's another conversation for another day. Maybe one for Big Noon kickoff. So it's been a struggle for Nevada. Is out in the flat. Taua makes the grab here. He'll pick up the 1st down. So the first 3 possessions for Nevada, Evan. Turn it over on downs, safety, 3 and out.
Yeah.
What do they do now?
And, well, I'm watching Utah State's defense because I was anxious to see how they attack Carson Strong. Yeah, we expect them to change the front and change the picture, but you got to be careful about pressuring a guy like that because he's got answers built into what they have offensively. And what I've seen for the most part is Utah State kind of sitting back and playing coverage and forcing him to make tight window throws and just tackling what's in front of them. And they weren't great at tackling last week against San Diego State, but we've already seen an improvement here tonight.
So after the 12-yard reception for Taua, this is Lee. He finally gets a whistle there. It was originally brought down after a gain of 6.
It was hard to tell if he was actually down there. He kind of spun out of that thing and looked like he put his hand and kept himself up with that offhand.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was down. The play's called dead. It's not reviewable at this point, but nice athletic move there.
That's why you keep running until you hear a whistle. 2nd and 4. And Strong, quick release. Justin Lockhart makes the grab, gets by a tackle, and Lockhart has a 1st down, the sophomore from Los Angeles.
One thing we saw there from the Utah State defense is what's known as simulated pressures, right? Where 4 guys are rushing, but you're kind of varying where that 4th rusher comes from, and you're making it look like to the quarterback that he's getting pressure. And so it speeds things up and forces him to get the ball out quick. And if you're Utah State, you'll live with that, right? 3 to 4 yard gains and just make tackles and don't let this offense be explosive.
9 yards for Lockhart. 1st down, plus side of midfield. Flag comes in here on the run for Taua. A nice block there from the right tackle, Aaron Frost. Let's see what the flag is about.
Holding, number 65, offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay, 1st down.
I take that back. It was a hold, not a block.
Yeah,
Frost, sorry.
Hold by 65, Aaron Frost, your right tackle there, right up there.
Yeah.
Ends up getting his hands around and ends up pulling the defender down with him. That was like the defender kind of lost his balance and fell into him. But I think what Utah State's doing defensively, sitting back a bit, 3, maybe 4 rushers, because of the box counts for Carson Strong and seeing a numbers advantage with his offensive line, it's forced them to run the ball a little bit more today. And I think Utah State knows that because they want to take the ball out of his hands. They do not want to see those explosive plays to guys like Romeo Doubs on the outside.
Taua bounces to the outside, escapes an ankle tackle, lowers the shoulder, runs into Cam Lampkin. There's another flag here after the gain of 5. 5 5 penalties already in this first quarter. We're about to have a 6th.
Personal foul, blindside block, number 15 on the offense. 15 yards from spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Busy night for the Stripes.
That's right. Henry Ika Hihifo at the tight end position, number 15. Ends up getting a blindside block there. Well, just a sloppy start so far for Nevada offensively, right? And this is what you're worried about. Short week. You've had a lot of success so far this year offensively. We asked Jay Norvell, could a letdown be imminent? He said, no, we're aware of it. We're trying to guard against it, but so far, I would say that's what we've seen.
Utah State has won 3 of the last 4 meetings head-to-head, including a drubbing 36-10 last season. Nevada out to a 2-0 start, but a bit of a scatter shot opening to this game as Strong completes here near midfield. It's Cole Turner. Will pick up 17 out of the 30. They were backed up on first down.
Oh, the Utah State outside linebacker, Nick Henninger, who plays both outside linebacker and will find himself in a defensive end position quite a bit rushing the passer. He speeds things up for Carson Strong. Gets there, forces him out of the pocket. They lose contain, and they find the big Cole Turner down the field. 6'6", 240 pounds. Middle of the field weapon.
Great game to open the season against Wyoming with 119 yards as Lee gets the call, burrows his way for a couple extra yards, and he'll bring up a third down and manageable here after an 8-yard game.
Yeah, this is not what this Nevada offense has been accustomed to this year. This Utah State defense forcing them to take shorter throws, forcing them to run the football, and basically saying, can you beat us doing this the whole game, right? Can you not make mistakes? Can you make these tight window throws and not throw interceptions if you're Carson Strong? We're not going to give you the explosive plays. We're going to make you do it right in front of us. So far, it's been a successful recipe for the Utah State defense.
Under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Third down and 5. Strong steps up, trying to locate a man downfield. They'll take a shot to the end zone. It's caught! It's Dubs! Romeo Dubs, one-on-one, could not be stopped. 42 yards for the score, and Nevada is on the board.
Boy, that is a high level of trust between a quarterback and a wide receiver. You see Utah State sows pressure early on. They end up only bringing 4. Carson Strong still has to roll out of the pocket. It's good coverage, right? If you're Cam Lampkin, you really can't cover it much better than that, but there's a big size mismatch there. Romeo Dubs, 6'2", 200 pounds. Cam Lampkin's only 5'9", 170. And if you're Carson Strong, you just give your playmaker a chance, and that's exactly what he did. And Romeo Dubs does what he's been doing all year long, averaging over 18 yards a catch. Big play to get this offense going.
Third touchdown of the season for Dubs. Caps off a 6-play, 74-yard drive, and the explosive Nevada offense finally gets in gear. They're on the board.
You give your time. You give your courage. When we need it most, you give us hope. And when we look around, even now, you show us who we are at our best and why we serve.
During the Black Friday sales event with employee pricing for all, get $8,671 below MSRP on the 2020 Ram 1500.
Romeo Dubs back-to-back 100-yard games, 219 last week, a career high against UNLV, and caps off the scoring drive for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, we had just been talking that entire drive about Utah State trying to limit explosives, right? That play went the way you wanted it to. You get him out of the pocket. Sometimes you just can't account for playmakers like that. It's tough.
Utah State taking this out to the 17-yard line on the return, Savon Scarver.
Yeah, we talked about Romeo Dubs up here on the top. And you see Utah State showing some pressure up at the line of scrimmage, but then they end up bailing a couple of those guys. Ends up having to roll Carson Strong out. Romeo Dubs just stays with it. Ends up taking off deep on the scramble drill. And Carson Strong just chucks it up there and gives him a chance.
What a luxury that is. By the way, with all the penalty yardage factored in, what was it, 88-yard throwing performance for Strong on that drive. 5 of 6 for 88 yards.
And look, sometimes the ends justify the means. Things have not been pretty for Nevada so far offensively, but a big play like that can bring the energy and give you the spark to get things going.
On first down, carried for Derek Wright. Picks up 4. Well, now we'll see if Utah State has an answer. Remember, they had that spectacular play at the end of the first half against San Diego State. Do they have a little bit more confidence here? Second down, late give, Devontae Henry Cole. Oh, found some running room in the end. That is something out of nothing. Along the edge, gets 2, maybe 3. There is a flag.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're going to see a blindside block here. They've really cracked down on that, really at all levels of football now, to be able to blindside a guy as the ball's kind of bouncing outside, and I think that's what they're going to get the outside receiver for here.
Personal foul, blindside block. Number 13, the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
Yeah, Alex, this is a play. I go back to my high school days, and this is a play that got your whole sideline excited, right? Now, there's no helmet-to-helmet contact there, but they have gotten rid of blindside blocks almost completely. Really cracked down on him. And right there, that's a play 5 years ago that would have been just fine. It would have been applauded by your coaches, right? You didn't hit him in the back, just a blindside block, and they've eliminated those. It's now a personal foul.
Safety more than anything else. These guys who get absolutely rocked. Second out at 17 now. On the Aggie 11. Shelley, short completion over the middle. And the crossing route, Jordan Nathan will finally get brought down after a gain of 6. Long third down coming up.
Yeah, what that penalty does is it gets Utah State off schedule a little bit because they had hit so much rhythm on their last drive with running Jason Shelley. See some tempo here. It catches Nevada defense off guard.
Wolfpack showing pressure. Final seconds of the quarter. They don't need to snap it. They do. Shelley swings it out. It's juggled and dropped by Henry Cole. And the first play of the second quarter will be an Aggies punt. It's a wild start to this game. Beginning with the safety on the sack in the end zone. Utah State out to the early lead. 9-7 in Reno.
This year. And it's just a testament to his decision-making, too. Like, we're talking about a sophomore that's in complete control of this offense and also is not turning the ball over, ever, right? Now, there's been enough there for us not to worry about jinxing it, but he's had an outstanding year when it comes to taking care of the football.
Just 1 interception the last 5 games. This time locates Tubbs. 9-yard pickup, first down. Or, sorry, a 2nd and 1 coming. And that number, you know, it's interesting because you talk about being a sophomore.
Yeah.
First 6 games, his freshman year, 6 picks.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff was working with him, and they said it's been a very collaborative process to not put him in situations where he would fail.
Look, he was a 63% passer last year. 7 interceptions on the year, played in 10 games.
Towell will pick up the first down here.
Played in 10 games a year ago. And what has happened since then, right? Not much of an offseason at all because of what's happened in 2020 with COVID-19 and a very modified training camp to get ready for this season. They had a very short amount of time, less than a month from the time it was announced that the Mountain West would return to when they had their first game. And so for him to come back, yes, there's continuity with the coaching staff, right? He's hearing the same messages from Matt Mumme, their offensive coordinator. But as a true sophomore, to be doing what he's doing and taking care of the football after, you know, with an offseason or lack thereof, like this year, is absolutely incredible.
Tons of time to take a shot downfield. Dumps again the target, this time overthrown. You know, for Carson Strong, how did he get to Nevada if he's that talented? Summer of his senior year, suffered a pretty serious injury in high school. Might have been under-recruited, and that's what they were saying about this kid, that they feel like he kind of fell into their laps.
Yeah, to be having this much success early on in your career, it certainly begs the question, right? Was he under-recruited? But a lot of credit goes to Jay Norvell. A lot of credit goes to their offensive coordinator, Matt Mumme, the son of Hal Mumme, the father of the air raid offense, for bringing this kid along like this. It's as much development as anything else, too.
Devontae Lee is unable to get away from the tackle. Marcus Moore coming up.
One of the things Carson Strong wanted to improve on this year, too, is being more successful pushing the ball down the field, right? Improving that deep ball accuracy. And a lot of that stuff, too, is chemistry with your wide receivers. They don't even have Elijah Cook so far this year. He might, he's out tonight, might be out for a longer period of time, looking for a second opinion with a shoulder issue. 76 catches last year. He's leaned heavily on Romeo Doubs because of that. The connection they've developed this offseason has been outstanding.
Third and long. Strong. Check down. Stovall makes the catch, but he comes up short, tackled by Elijah Shelton. They went for it on fourth down earlier tonight. We'll see what they do here.
Again, not bringing any pressure. Bringing 3 rushers. Keeping things in front of you, forcing Carson Strong to make a decision. We're going to another fourth down attempt here from the Nevada offense.
Same distance, too. This from the Utah State 45. Strong surveys, fires, complete. It's Lockhart. Chunk play, first down for the Wolfpack.
Justin Lockhart's another guy that's gotten more opportunities in the absence of Elijah Cooks at the wide receiver position. 10 catches on the year, 6 catches a week ago. Finds himself in single coverage running the post route. Another nice throw by Carson Strong, and a nice job by Justin Lockhart going up and making that play.
22 yards on the reception. Another dart over the middle, this time to the tight end, Cole Turner. It'll be first and goal for Nevada.
And the transformation of Cole Turner continues. We mentioned previously he was a wide receiver, put some weight on, became a tight end, still runs a lot of wide receiver routes, but that's a big body over the middle of the field. Only 6 career receptions entering the season. I think that's his 12th, I believe his 12th catch on the season, assuming he already had one today. Or that was a drop earlier, right? On the reviewed play?
Yeah, on the review, yeah.
Or himself to Carson Strong's left. He gets ISO'd up on Jared Reed. That's a matchup you want all day long. And he tries to throw kind of that back shoulder goal line fade ball just a little too high. Cole Turner's not able to gather his feet and go up and make the catch.
Second down, empty backfield, Strong lobs it over the head of Romeo Doubs. Incompletion brings up third down.
Yeah, it was well defended by Utah State. They just bring Romeo Doubs in motion and try to run him on a quick out route. Kind of like a sprint right option feel where the quarterback rolls out to that side and just try to hit him right by the pylon. But it was well defended by Utah State. I'd like to see them once again get Cole Turner in a one-on-one situation. I think you go back to that, whether it's a slant or a goal line fade, that's a matchup he can win. Now you see him down here in the slot right here, the big Cole Turner, the 6'6" tight end.
And off. And unable to get anywhere is Tower. And Utah State holds him again.
And again, we know Carson Strong has flexibility at the line of scrimmage. That's a loaded box right there. They're running into a numbers disadvantage against the Utah State defense, and credit to Utah State's defensive front. This is a group that is without Richie Sonifata, one of their senior defensive tackles, and Hale Motuapuka getting in there as well, subbing in for Richie Sonifata and making a play up front.
The sophomore from Honolulu. They're going to go for it again here. And this time it's Romeo Doubs, who makes no mistake. You want to score? Dial up his number. Second TD for Doubs, and the Wolfpack have the lead.
Utah State elects to bring a little pressure, giving a one-on-one situation to number 7, Romeo Doubs, and that's dangerous. You know, if you're Zahadri Jackson with no help inside, you got to play the fade honestly, and then Romeo Doubs sticks him outside and runs the slant route. That's almost impossible to cover against a DB like that. If I'm Zahadri Jackson, I'm probably coming over to the sideline asking for a little help in the middle of the field to take away the slant. That's a tough ask against a receiver like that.
11 plays, 64-yard drive, and who else but Romeo Doubs on another connection from Carson Strong. His second score tonight. Pack out in front.
The Flat Spin 360. Often imagined, rarely attempted. Accomplished. Just this once. Introducing the all-new turbocharged K5.
Level, Nature's Bounty is here for you. The #1 herbal supplement brand has everything you need to help keep your immune system strong. Immune support comes naturally with Nature's Bounty.
Domino's knows a thing or two about delivery. So when we saw people were getting tacos and burgers delivered like these, we had to step in. Introducing our new chicken taco and cheeseburger pizzas.
What?
Oh my. Now the best way to get a taco or burger delivered is to get a Domino's pizza.
Michigan. Touchdown! Indiana. Unbelievable! Saturday at noon Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Well, the first 3 drives for Nevada, not great. 9 plays, 16 yards. The last 2 have resulted in scores.
Well, that's a cool customer right there. After that first touchdown, Hail Mary type play from Carson Strong, I don't think he showed any emotion at all, both after the catch or on the sideline. Just another touchdown for Romeo Doubs, right? Just another day in the office.
And how about the calls on 4th down and 2? You get a 20-yard completion downfield. And then on 4th and goal from the 3-yard line, pretty confident in finding Romeo Doubs. Nevada with their first lead of the game. 2 drives ago, it was Jason Shelley.
Yeah, we talked about the rhythm they were able to establish with his legs, and we knew after talking to offensive coordinator Bodie Reeder this week, we knew they would try to use his legs more often. We saw sometimes to extend plays in the pass game, but we've seen it a lot more in the run game as well, and it's kept this Nevada defense on its heels. It's worked really well for this group. Last drive, they got off schedule with a key penalty on that crackback block. If I'm Utah State, yes, you're down 14-9. Those last 2 drives didn't go very well defensively, but you have to stick to that formula that got you those points early on.
Draw play. Warren battles his way forward for 6.
I think it's best for Utah State to not try to keep pace with this Nevada offense necessarily. And remember, if we can dictate the tempo of this game, we can slow things down a little bit. We got to remember, this Utah State defense offensively played against Boise and San Diego State the last 2 weeks. This Nevada defense is not what those 2 defenses are.
Shelley got hit after the completion to Savon Scarver. First down for the Aggies.
Well, good to see Savon Scarver back out there as Shelley takes a nice little lick here. After he gets rid of the football, you got to be careful there, man. That's a defenseless player. We know how sensitive they get with the targeting situations these days.
Hammond did a good job just hugging him in the end. This will be a tackle for loss on the carry for Warren. Back him up 1 or 2. Tackle by Zach Mahana.
For that last play, we saw Savon Scarver get a reception. Did not play week 1 against Boise. Played a little bit last week, working back from an injury. Playmaker, kick returner. Gives him some more speed on the outside.
Utah State was in the media kind of thrown a little bit of incentive. Bulletin board material from their coach. Called their performance last week pathetic. This week, little different story. Ooh, this is a dangerous pass off the hand of the intended target, Derek Wright. On the 0-2 start, Gary Anderson was talking about, well, we are who we are. This week, they are looking a lot better.
Yeah, you'll see Jason Shelley has Derek Wright down the field here. He's forced to roll out to his left and kind of throw across his body a little bit. earlier in the play, he had a window to get it to Derek Wright, but that's a risky throw between two defenders. Check that thing down or get rid of it. Give yourself a chance to fight another day.
3rd and 12.
This is where Nevada wants to get pressure on Jason Shelley and also keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside. They struggled with that against UNLV a little bit last week and keeping the quarterback in the pocket.
On their own 43. Shelley trying to keep the play alive. He'll dump it off short, but it's incomplete, intended for Jalen Warren. Short-armed it a little bit, and the Aggies will punt.
Yeah, if you're looking at Gary Anderson there, that's frustrating because what he likes about Jason Shelley is his athleticism, right? His ability to extend plays, and he does that there. I think Jalen Warren had some running room. Just leaves, like you said, short-armed it a little bit. Leaves that thing a little bit low. Had a chance to get some yards there with Jalen Warren. Possibly put them in position to go for it on 4th down as well. And the cool customer, Romeo Doubs, back to receive the kick. Not many guys in college football are more relaxed than that guy, huh?
This is just another day at the office.
He's just hanging out, man. Hanging out and scoring touchdowns.
Nevada takes the timeout here with 9:20 remaining. We have a moment. We'll remind you that there was no winner. We still play. Fox Bet Super 6. Giving you another chance to win $1 million of Terry Bradshaw's money. Play for free right now. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Make your picks for Sunday's games for a shot at a cool $1 million. Alex Faust, Evan Moore here with you. Nevada looking to get to 3-0 on the season as Romeo Doubs makes the fair catch at the Nevada 19. We'll step aside. The Wolfpack leading 14-9.
Did you know that Geico's whole 15 minutes thing, that came from me? Really? My first idea was, in 1/4 of an hour, your savings will tower. Over you, figuratively speaking. But that's not catchy, is it? That's not going to swim about in your brain. So I thought, what about 15 minutes, 15%? Serendipity.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
At T-Mobile, we believe you should get more. That's why we merged with Sprint. Now, it's about to get even better. And as we work to integrate Sprint's network, our nationwide 5G keeps getting stronger, with the capacity and coverage to reach more people and places across the country. Who says you can't have it all? Now is the time for 5G. Now is the time to join T-Mobile.
On a Superstitious Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Where is it? Where are they?
Honey, come on. I got the Dr. Pepper. We're going to be late for the game.
Looking for my lucky pants. Have you seen them?
There was a problem at the cleaners. They shrunk your lucky pants.
My pants?
Next time on Fansville.
They still fit.
Oh.
Dad.
Look, fit like a glove.
You don't wear gloves as pants.
Hey, Sheriff. How you doing?
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Turkey can be dry and underwhelming until one day Turkey emerges from a vat of hot oil, crispy and juicy, glistening under a waning harvest moon. Arby's, we have the meat.
Oh no, another pizza deal that's carryout only? Introducing the new $10 Tastemaker from Pizza Hut. Get any 3 toppings you want delivered for just one easy payment of $10. Pizza Hut. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Sunday on Fox. Patrick Mahomes leads the Chiefs.
Touchdown!
Against Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers.
What a play!
Or the Raiders take on the Chargers.
Wow!
It all kicks off Sunday on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
A spectacular night in Reno. Comfortable evening in northern Nevada. Carson Strong back to work after engineering this last drive.
Yeah, really slow start for this game, and the difference was that deep play by Romeo Doubs for the touchdown on the rollout. And on this last drive, he found a little bit of a rhythm there. It was a nice first down throw earlier to Justin Lockhart as well, capped off by the Romeo Doubs touchdown on the slant route. This Nevada offense has found rhythm. It's amazing how slow starts for a rhythm offense can be sparked by big plays by playmakers. And Romeo Doubs has been that guy tonight, just like he was the first 2 weeks of the season. But that play deep in the end zone on his first touchdown has gotten this Nevada offense going.
Protection's been great, too. Strong's going to take another shot. Again, it's Doubs, the target. It's incomplete. Strong is the only quarterback in the country, and I believe it based on the targets that he has, the only quarterback in the nation with 4 consecutive games, 350-plus yards of passing. 148 so far tonight.
Well, as a group, they're averaging 385 yards a game through the air. That's first in the Mountain West Conference and second in the FBS.
Tawa alone back here in motion. As Strong will go to him. Into the flat. Tawa. He'll get 6. Maybe 5 in the end. Third down.
Once again, Utah State electing to fall back and play coverage, keep things in front of them, tackling in space, and generally that has worked out well for them. It's just been those momentary lapses over the course of the game. The touchdown to Doubs early, and then the third down conversion to Justin Lockhart as well. It's one thing to sit back and wait for Carson Strong to make a mistake, but a guy like this eventually is going to catch you on defense making a mistake in one-on-one coverage as well, and he's taking advantage of it.
And again, has tons of time. He'll dump it off short. Avery Morrow picks up a first down. His first touch tonight.
You know, Alex, it's interesting. Coming into this thing, we thought we might see more of a pass rush from Utah State. You know, the defensive coordinator, Frank Maile, who coaches the defensive line, said, I'm going to rotate a bunch of guys up front to try to get some pressure on Carson Strong. But by and large, they're only rushing 3 or 4 guys. So the emphasis has not been to try to blitz him or get guys all over him. It's been just to keep things in front of him.
Playing it safe again here. Tawa twisted down by A.J. Vongpachon after a gain of 7.
Toa Tawa, part of that two-headed monster at the running back position with Devontae Lee. And when they get a numbers advantage there, they're happy to hand it off to him. And that's the misnomer with this offense, right? You think you're playing an air raid team? They'll at times line up with 2 running backs in the backfield and a tight end and try to pound it right down your throat.
Swing pass caught by Torrey Horton. And he'll juke to the inside for a first down, brought down by Shaq Bond. It's interesting you mentioned that. Last week against UNLV, the play selection, 27 pass plays, 27 rushing.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had from Matt Mumme. I said, look, that's your run-pass distribution. Does that surprise you? And his reaction was, no. Like, we've got a lot of air raid pass concepts when we do throw the ball. That's kind of the stuff you'll see. Right there you see Vai Tawa.
It's Toa's older brother.
Toa's older brother.
Strong looking deep again. It's Romeo Doubs. He's got him for the 3rd time. Romeo Doubs is putting on a show.
Not much emotion. Boy, again, it's the lapses, right? You're playing off coverage, and if you're Zahajdri Jackson, you can't just sit flat-footed like that. Romeo Doubs has shown all year long the kind of elite speed he has down the field, and they've shown several times on film they're not afraid to let him run right by you, and Carson Strong will go to him repeatedly. So if you're Zahajdri Jackson, you have to make him catch the ball in front of you, and you have to stay behind him. You're almost daring him to run, but you're giving him the middle of the field. There's no middle of the field help. There's no safety in the middle of the field. Boy, that's a tough ask. Another big play by Romeo Doubs.
Romeo Doubs has 5 catches, 3 scores, including
inside help on the play. So Romeo Doubs runs right by him. There's nobody in the middle of the field to help on the post route. Zahajdri Jackson's technique tells me that he thought he was going to have inside help. That safety disappears. And another big play from Romeo Doubs. You get in that cover 4 situation, that safety has his eyes on that slot receiver. If that slot receiver pushes too far up the field, he ends up basically taking him man-to-man, and that's where you're exposed defensively.
Off first down. The Aggies need something. And Justin McGriff, who has their lone score today. Picks up 21, moves the sticks.
Yeah, the challenge here for Utah State is to stay on task, right? I mean, these big plays just take so much out of your football team with what Nevada's been able to do offensively.
Go back to the ground here, and Devontae Henry Cole, who gets a couple of yards.
And if you think about the strengths or what they are for this Utah State offense, it's not well suited to play from behind, right? I mean, it has not been an explosive offense. They're better off trying to control the tempo of the game, which they did really well for most of the first quarter. And really, they did it really well for much of the first half last week against San Diego State. But things just tend to happen quickly with this team and fall apart fast. And we're seeing that here again in Reno.
They're going to need to crack their season high, which is 13 points. Shelley is stopped after a gain of 2, and this is a great form tackle in the open field. Dion Henley on it down.
Brian Ward, the Nevada defensive coordinator, told us this week he's been really pleased with a modified training camp and no spring ball, how his guys have tackled. Dion Henley right there, one of the athletic freaks on this defense. Tackles him a little high, but he's got the strength to hold on.
He started his career as a wide receiver before being converted. Diving attempt, but it's incomplete. Jordan Nathan well covered. 4th down upcoming for the Aggies.
Jason Shelley got tricked on that play a little bit. Jordan Nathan appeared like he was going to be open. The number 1, Burdale Robbins, the corner, he diagnoses the play and realizes something's coming underneath him, and he falls off that outside receiver and comes down and breaks that thing up. I think Jason Shelley thought he was going to have an easy reception outside to Jordan Nathan.
Another drive that ends in a punt for Utah State. These are adding up now while the deficit has grown. Will this take a fortunate bounce? It does. Can they keep it out of the end zone? Yes. Thought the back judge was going to signal for a touchback for a moment, but he changed his mind.
One of the more interesting plays in sports is when that ball is just bouncing around by the goal line and guys come in 100 miles an hour. Now, it's difficult to tell. You know, it looks like he doesn't make contact with the ball when laying in the end zone.
So after the 49-yard punt, Carson Strong better hope it's not deja vu. Sacked in the end zone for the game's opening score, safety.
You maybe get the sense that Romeo Doubs looked at this like the chance to get a 97-yard touchdown reception.
Hey,
you back him up.
You never know.
When you're on fire offensively, that's kind of the way you think.
For reference, Doubs' career high is 75. Toa barges his way out of the shadow of the end zone to give the Wolfpack a bit more leverage.
Again, we're seeing the willingness of this offense, too. Yeah, they've had big plays, but they are willing to run the football. And Toa Taua, kind of the lead back, has just a great mix of burst and strength. You know, we were on the talking to the staff, and they mentioned, we got 2 running backs that we got one that can run you over and one that can run around you. I'm like, wait a second, like, can't they both run you over? That's what I've been seeing on film. Toa Taua can certainly run with some physicality, too.
It's been a long time coming to Nevada football games and rooting for the Wolfpack. Get tackled for loss here after a catch in the flat. Vi, star running back in his own right here at Nevada.
How cool is that? The young Toa Taua. There he is again cheering for his brother. That is awesome.
Cabrillo High School. And Toa got to be in the stands for all the Wolfpack games growing up. His brother Vi still ranks top 5 program history and career rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. They're down at 5 here after the loss of 2. And a couple of options, doesn't see any develop, and he'll throw it away. Flag comes in.
That flag came from the middle, the official in the middle of the field. So he either saw illegal contact or holding in the end zone, maybe?
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Number 91, defense. 15 yards to be added to the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's a big-time bailout.
James Hanson, the defensive lineman.
See what happens with the sophomore.
Right over to the left tackle here on the outside. Ends up getting that hand up in the face of Jacob Gardner, the true freshman. And can't put your hands above that neck or up in that head and neck area. That's a painful penalty. They had that backed up and giving them yards.
You're about to get them basically punted to near midfield. And instead, the drive keeps going for the Wolfpack. Incomplete pass here intended for Justin Lockhart. Second down upcoming.
Miscommunication there. You see Carson Strong looking to the sideline, shaking his head. 220 yards, 3 TDs in the first half. First half isn't even over yet. Quite the productive half given the way things started in the first 3 drives. But again, if you're Utah State, right now they got 2 guys over the top of Romeo Doubs. Cam Lampkin and 41, Elijah Shelton. They just moved 41 back inside a tab. But you've got to do everything you can to take him out of the football game. Have to neutralize him.
Showing pressure here for the whistles came. I believe this was a timeout.
Utah State.
Yeah, Utah State calls timeout. We'll step aside.
We're so embarrassed we overpaid for this used car. We don't even want to show our faces around here.
Yep. Went to the wrong used car site.
Remember, if you don't see me, you're not seeing the most accurate price. Shop at Carfax. You won't have to overpay on a used car again.
All right, kids. Coast is clear. Wait for me.
Come on, come on. Shop millions of great deals, all with a free Carfax report. Only at the all-new Carfax.com.
So a second down coming here for the Nevada Wolfpack on their own 22. Jay Norvell's team, they've got the offense clicking now after a strange start that began with a safety. 265 yards of total offense. And based on the last couple drives, might have more in him than the half. But Talent, it's wrapped up in the backfield, couldn't find the edge. Kevin Metzenheimer coming up to meet him. Third down and long coming.
Oh, Utah State's in a little bit of a bind on the back end. Last week, their corner Cam Lampkin, they actually had to take off one of the better receivers for San Diego State because he had been struggling a little bit. He had been getting picked on a little bit. So Hadri Jackson came into the game being the guy they felt the best about. Now, he has struggled. Again, not all his fault. Sometimes not help inside the way he anticipated, but he struggled against Romeo Doubs. And now you see number 6 there at the bottom of your screen. Cam Lampkin back on Romeo Doubs. So you got to think if that's a matchup that Nevada's going to try to exploit.
Can they get this defense off the field? Third and 11. Strong. Feeling the heat. Keeps it short. Tawa is able to get the first down.
Oh, as great as the deep balls have been today for Carson Strong, the big explosive plays, okay, those have been great. But what's been equally as impressive for a young quarterback is his willingness to check it down if he doesn't have anything down the field. He's not forcing much. He will at times just throw it up to Doubs because I think that's what you do with a playmaker like that. But his willingness to check it down to Toa-Taua has paid big dividends for them to keep drives going tonight. And credit Toa-Taua, too, for those hands. He's done a nice job catching the ball out of the backfield.
Missed the first week of the season, but pretty stout 86 yards last week against UNLV. Completion here on first down to Charles Ross, the redshirt freshman from Culver City, California. They'll move the sticks again.
You see Carson Strong there communicating with his teammates. Looks like we got a holding on the offensive line.
Replay, first down.
So they'll wipe that off.
It was an impressive progression there for Carson Strong. His eyes immediately, I think they got the holding there on the freshman Jacob Gardner playing left tackle. He's done an outstanding job so far this year. What I found, see there, just on the top of your screen there, coming off the left side, the freshman, number 75, Jacob Gardner, ends up kind of twisting and pulling to the ground. That's going to get called every time.
Had a great season opener as a true freshman. First true freshman to start at left tackle there in Nevada in 28 years. As Dubs is finally stopped at the point of attack. So Audrey Jackson finally gets to him.
Yeah, you're going to play that far off, then as an offense, let's just take what you give us, right? We'll see Romeo Dubs eventually his ability to run after the catch. We know he returns punts as well. He's not just a deep threat. You get the ball in his hands early and can make things happen.
Strong. Zips it near side. Dubs spins out short of the first down.
Now, we've seen Carson Strong have quite a bit of time to generally to throw the ball tonight, right? And that's by scheme, or that's by design if you're Utah State, because you're trying to kind of sit back and keep things in front of you, not emphasizing pass rush as much. But what's been impressive with Carson Strong is at times tonight, like you see right there, his eyes start left, then they come back right. He is willing to get to his third receiver in the progression. And again, for a young quarterback, you just don't normally see that kind of stuff. And remember, he didn't have much of an offseason either, like every other quarterback in America, but still. The level he's playing at as a young guy, getting to his third in the progression is really impressive.
Shovel pass could have been danger. Diving for it was A.J. Vongpachon. And Strong says, yeah, my bad
for that one. Yep. Utah State getting some pressure here up front, off the edge with Nick Henninger. Almost is able to pull him down. Nick Henninger's a great story. Ends up starting his career at Utah, University of Utah, earns a scholarship, and then ends up transferring to Utah State. And this Nevada offense is going to try to go for it again on fourth down.
Honestly, why not? This is one way to kill the confidence of your opponent. Play clock winding down to get it off. And Strong has another completion on fourth down. Melquan Stovall moves the chains.
Carson Strong identifies what he sees from the defense, gets some pressure. Melquan Stovall, one of his slot receivers, a quick receiver, good against man-to-man. Throws it only where he can catch it, keeps it low. Nice execution by Carson Strong.
First set of downs, and Strong will take a shot. It's out of the reach of Cole Turner, incomplete. Clock stops, 40 seconds left in the half, and the Wolfpack would love to take this all the way down here. Coming up on the State Farm halftime show, Urban Meyer's playbook. 2-point conversions will be the topic. We'll talk about Big Noon and the Pac-12. Brunch out west of the Pac-12.
That's right. Get your coffee ready, huh?
USC Arizona State to start things off on Saturday on Fox. Strong taking another shot. It's Romeo Dubs. Incomplete. There was no way he could have gone 4 for 4 on shot plates.
I think as that ball's in the air, Audrey Jackson, number 14, the corner's thinking, oh boy, not again. And again, they have to stop letting Romeo Dubs run right by him. He's got to get out of his back pedal a little bit more quickly and turn and run. But that's a classic air raid design right there with the crossing routes in the middle of the field, vertical routes on the outside. You have your man-to-man answers, you have your zone answers, and then you got your playmakers, right? You just throw it up to Dubs, and that one just a little bit over the outstretched hands of Romeo Dubs.
Third and long. Pressure coming. Strong gets away, and the out route with Ross stops the clock with 25 seconds to go in the half. A first down for the Wolfpack.
When you're given Carson Strong this much time in the pocket, you're not able to get to him, and he's able to keep moving around back there, the scramble drill becomes critical. And that's a drill that every team has built into their offense. When the quarterback starts to move around, the play breaks down, everyone has a responsibility and a role. And these Nevada receivers execute that really nicely.
11-yard pickup. And Strong gets strip sacked here. Ball is on the ground. Utah State thinks they have it. Nevada may have just dodged a serious bullet.
Well, more importantly, I thought we were looking at Utah State's first turnover of the year on defense. Now, they got turnover on downs earlier, but Nick Henninger, the outside linebacker that oftentimes plays defensive end, comes off the edge, does a great job wrapping Carson Strong up. And as that ball's free, I'm thinking, and this is for Stacy Collins, co-defensive coordinator, and Frankie Maile, I'm thinking, boy, they're going to get their first turnover here. This has been a painful thing for them not to get these turnovers. They emphasize it so much throughout the course of the preseason and in practice. You got to get these game-changing turnovers, and so close right there. It looks like Nevada's going to hang on.
For as well as their defense played to begin the day. Last year, Utah State was second in the Mountain West in takeaways, including 13 recovered fumbles. That was fifth most in the country. But unable to generate a takeaway as of yet this season. That's as close as they've come. So after the sack, Henninger's first of the season, 7th of his career. It'll bring up second down at 22, 15 seconds left in the half.
And again, if I'm Utah State, if I'm Stacy Collins, co-defensive coordinator, under no circumstances am I letting Romeo Doubs get behind my secondary. That has to be a point of emphasis here. 15 seconds left in the half, second and long. Keep things in front of you.
The Nevada 45. Strong. Pocket collapses. He gets away, rolls out, and completes to Cole Turner. Nevada out of timeouts, and they won't be able to clock it. And that'll bring us to the end of the first half. But after a rough start, the Wolfpack got going with 3 scores to Romeo Doubs and a 21-9 lead. Coming up next, our State Farm halftime show.
Your mission: stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis, serious infections, and blood clots.
Start of the second half in Reno. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. The Mountain West here on FS1. Nevada fell behind early. But they lead 21-9 off 3 touchdowns from Romeo Doubs, who as of right now has more offense than the entire Utah State Aggies combined.
Yeah, he was no mystery coming in, and after the slow start for the Nevada offense, it took a big play from him down the field. You just saw to get them sparked. Then he gets that touchdown there on the slant in the red zone, and then again later on runs right by the corners of Audrey Jackson for the deep post on the touchdown. Boy, we knew he was electric coming into this game, but he's been absolutely outstanding. 137 of Carson Strong's 263 passing yards.
Well, it's one thing to have a quarterback, and we've talked a lot about Carson Strong, and Matt Mumme was chatting with him a couple weeks ago, and the one thing he kept bringing up was kid's vision has improved so much. It's one thing to have that. It's another to have a receiver to throw to with explosive speed.
Well, I've been equally impressed, too, not only with his explosive plays down the field to Romeo Doubs, but also his willingness to take what the defense gives him. That's what leads to him having now 263 consecutive pass attempts with no interception, right? Leading the country in that stat. No one has a better streak going right now than he does, and that's because, yeah, he's going to take his shots to Romeo Doubs, but he's not going to force the ball into bad situations. Continues to take care of it, and that's another reason they've been successful so far tonight.
Off we go in the second half. And Utah State will get a touchback to begin. And Jason Shelley, I think we saw a little bit of elusiveness from him, but it kind of faded as the half went on.
Yeah, they got into a little bit of rhythm in the first half offensively. Some of it was with his legs, and then he completed a couple passes as well. But overall, they're 1 for 6 on third down. They just have not been able to extend drives. Had the nice touchdown pass to Justin McGriff earlier. Finding a way to get him comfortable, right? Because when his offense has met a lot of resistance is when things have started to fall apart defensively as well. So got to get him comfortable here in the second half.
Utah State led 9-0. 21 unanswered points for Nevada as Jalen Warren gets him started with a 1-yard pickup.
I haven't seen the volume of carries tonight for Jalen Warren that we expected. We know he missed last week because of an injury. We've seen more of Devontae Henry Cole, but remember in week 1, Jalen Warren had 23 carries.
Last year, he was featured heavily. First 3 games last year, 324 yards. But there's a big run for Warren. He gets 7 and brings up 3rd and short.
Yeah, last week was dressed on the sideline against San Diego State. So lower body injury. You see that brace on his left leg.
3rd and 2. Shelley hit as he throws, and it's too tall for Devin Tompkins.
Oh, he had a nice replay and was trying to throw the bubble outside. On the left side of this defensive line, it's an error in communication. Carson Terrell can't get there quick enough to seal off the edge against Sam Hammond. Probably their best pass rusher, right? You let him gain a head of steam like that. Timing is off. Carson Terrell can't get there. Blows up the play.
That's another 3rd down gone awry. 1 for 7 now, and on their 7th possession of the night, their 6th punt. Doug steps out at the 22. So Carson Strong, who's already put together an impressive night, 282 yards through the air, can attack on more.
Well, early in the game, we saw their first bit of kind of adversity so far this year, right? Turnover on downs, a safety, and things hadn't been going very well. But nothing seems to rattle number 12. Especially when you got that guy on the outside. They'll find a way to make a play for you, and that was the turning point. Nothing had been clicking offensively. Your playmaker makes a play down the field. You're off to the races.
The only thing to guard against, and again, we talked about it in terms of letdown coming into this game. As Strong pitches this to Jamal Bell, rounding the corner, turning upfield, and getting flipped on the way by Troy Leffridge. The only thing to guard against here. Week 1 against Wyoming. They led 28-6 in the 3rd quarter. That lead was wiped out in the second half.
As we see Jamal Bell get around the corner there, the true freshman out of Lancaster, California. A slot speedster guy, like a legit 4.3, 4.4 40, trying to get the ball in his hands.
Still going here is Lockhart. Somebody's got to put a hand on it. Lockhart, who got a terrific lead block to set up this chunk play.
Well, you called it. He's got outstanding blocking on the perimeter. There you see Coulter, the tight end, out in front, eating up the corner, number 6, Cam Lampkin, leaving Troy Leffridge all by himself to make a tackle against Justin Lockhart.
35-yard run for Justin Lockhart, the sophomore. That's a career long. And an injured Utah State player here.
Difficult to see from there who that is. Is that?
We'll check on the injury when we come back. Nevada driving again.
We made USAA insurance for this season and the veterans that never quit on their team. When being a fan gets tough and stretching your budget gets even tougher, our agents put in the time and legwork for you. So saving on auto insurance is easy. Because saving a little extra goes a long way. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
One shake and cats come running. So be careful what you shake. Temptations cat treats. All it takes is a shake.
Good choice. Head & Shoulders gives you up to 100% dandruff protection.
I never do anything less than 100%.
Me neither. I make 100% of my leg days.
100! My hair looks this incredible, even in 100% humidity.
Take it up to 100 with clinically proven Head & Shoulders.
Uh-oh. This does not look good. Here, quick, have a Red Bull and pass it on.
No Red Bull, no wings.
Every customer has their own Safelite story. This couple was on a camping trip when their windshield got a chip. They drove to Safelite for a same-day repair. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you can trust.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Ortiz, Flores, Saturday at 8 Eastern on Fox.
I am a party, and everyone's invited, and I am going to keep going until someone drinks some champagne. I am the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
So the injured player on the play is Justice Tay, the defensive lineman from Utah State. You'll see here the left tackle from Nevada, Jacob Gardner, goes to cut him to get him on the ground quickly because the ball's coming out fast. Doesn't want to be able to knock that ball down. It's hard to tell what happened there. It looked like Jacob Gardner might have whipped his legs around a little bit and gone into Justice Tay. It looks like he's probably okay walking around over there. That's their best pass rusher. And as you're trying to find a way to get to Carson Strong and disrupt him, you can't afford to lose that guy at this point in the game.
So the most experienced player on the roster, 44th career appearance, as Taua is able to scamper out after a pickup of 3 on first down. Taua is a little bit hurt.
Yeah, gets that ball out quickly to Taua in the flat. He's shown his willingness to do that today. Carson Strong has, and this is a big ask for Utah State's defense. Again, we've talked a lot tonight about them wanting to keep things in front of them, but what it's resulted in is Carson Strong just having far too much time and rolling out of the pocket, extending the play, keeping his eyes downfield. They've had a lot of scramble drill throws that is just improvising out of the pocket.
Another check down. And this is Devontae Lee, who drags Elijah Shelton with him, setting up a third and manageable.
Again, another 4- and 5-yard play. When you're going against an air raid passing attack like this, and you decide to sit back, you're waiting for the quarterback to make a mistake. And a lot of quarterbacks around the country, especially young ones, will eventually do that. They will force the ball. They will get frustrated. They'll go for the big play. And outside of going to Romeo Doubs a few times, he's been willing to take what this defense has given him.
I like what Jay Norvell told us. Looks at kids' transcripts before recruiting him, and Strong's is terrific. As he finds Lee tiptoeing along the sideline, could he stay in? The answer is yes. It's a first down for Nevada. How about this?
Devontae Lee out to the side, and Carson just works it just a tad for the completion.
I'm going to review this to see if his foot indeed slipped out. Awfully tight.
Difficult to tell if he stepped out before the ball got there.
Wait, does that foot hit the ground? I can't.
Let's see. Dean Blandino is with us. What did you see from those angles so far, Dean?
Yeah, a couple of things. They're looking to see if that left foot actually touched the sideline before he touched the pass. Going to watch that left foot. Is that in or out of bounds? And then, obviously, after he controls the pass, does he get a body part down, which it looks like he does. But if that foot's out and then he touches it, we've got an illegal touch, and that would take the completion away.
Yeah, that's the big question right now.
Yeah. And again, if he steps out unprovoked, like Dean's saying, it's illegal touching. He can't be the first to touch the ball. If he were to catch, I believe if he were to catch a tip ball, he'd be okay. But in this case, he's the first one to catch it from Carson Strong, and it was difficult to tell there if he had stepped out before the ball arrived, though.
Yeah, Dean, I don't know if you're still with us. Based on the views that you've seen so far, let's get the call here.
After reviewing the play, the ruling stands. First down, Nevada.
I was going to say, it probably nothing that would have been definitive enough to overturn.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the ruling of Stans. You know, we had the play earlier. We didn't think it was clear and obvious, and they overturned it. This one, not clear, and Stans is the correct ruling.
So it's a first down for the Wolfpack at the Utah State 15. And again, Pack threatening a score here. 21 unanswered points. All have come from Carson Strong and Romeo Doubs. Taua searching for a seam. Gets past the tackle. Taua still on his feet. Touchdown. What a run. That is a physical 15-yard touchdown run for Toa Taua.
We heard countless times over the course of the week how much this staff loves Toa Taua and how they want to get him carries. You see that collision right there? That's Troy Leffridge. That's Utah State's most physical player in the secondary. Led the team in tackling last year. Had some injury issues earlier this year, but he comes up to challenge Toa Taua. And Taua gets the better of that one for a big touchdown run for this Nevada offense.
6 plays, 77 yards. And I know it's been described multiple times as an air raid, and they may have air raid concepts in there, but they have a stud at running back with Toa Taua.
I'll tell you what they have. Like, oftentimes, you know, there's air raid concepts in their passing game, but there is a mentality that we will line up and we will go run splits with our offensive line. We won't spread things out too much, and we will try to pound the football if you ask us to do that. That's exactly what they did right there.
Extra point is good. And you can now make it 28 unanswered. Troy Leffridge can only watch and wonder what might have been different. We're talking about a pretty talented guy. Senior. But no match for Toa Taua.
Well, when Nevada talks about running the football, it's a numbers game for them, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the box, and you got Cole Turner responsible for him. And then what you ask your running back to do is we want to get one-on-one with this guy and make a play. And that's exactly what happens here. You watch across the board. Everyone is on their responsibility, hat on a hat across the board. And right there is where it ends up, a one-on-one battle with a safety. And you ask your running back, can you win that battle? Well, Toa Taua proves he can, right? Runs right through their most physical tackler for a big touchdown. What a stud. That's a great play right there.
This was a 9-0 Utah State lead in the final 3 minutes of the first quarter. But Nevada just has been unstoppable since.
Well, it's the avalanche of points that's been tough for Utah State and their defense, right? I mean, last week we mentioned going into the half, getting that touchdown, being down 10-7 against San Diego State, and then having a brutal third quarter where San Diego State outgained them, you know, by over 150 yards. Only 6 total yards for Utah State in that third quarter. So how do they respond here?
Rush 5, but Shelley's well protected. Oh, that would have been a big play for Jalen Warren. Incomplete, third down coming.
Oh, they catch the defense peeking into the backfield, and you watch Jalen Warren there at the bottom of your screen kind of swing out to his left, and he just gets lost. This is how the play is designed, to throw back to Jalen Warren. The ball is significantly underthrown. He has to stop and come back to it. Doesn't catch it. Another missed opportunity for the Utah State offense.
Nevada 1 for 7 on third down tonight. Play clock down to 4. Shelley. Pitch to the outside. It's going to come up short. Jalen Warren tried to dive for it. And I wonder if this is the time of the game you just try to keep the offense on now.
Yeah, I understand the decision. You think you're getting pressure. You think it's going to be man-to-man, so you're hoping to get kind of a pick route to the running back, kind of on a swing route, and hoping he can get extra yards. But when you got that kind of look up front, you've got Justin McGriff on the outside, who these coaches know at 6'6" is a threat in single coverage. at some point you got to let one of those guys make a play down the field, whether it's Savon Scarver, Justin McGriff, Devin Tompkins. You've got to cut it loose and keep this defense honest.
Haven't called any of their names. Oh, muffed punt. Might this be a break for the Aggies? And the first mistake for Romeo Doubs, who has the ball. Signal is for Nevada. And out of the scrum, it is Doubs who has the ball.
All right, Doubs doesn't make many mistakes, right? Especially when it comes to catching the football. Takes his eyes off it just a second.
On the field is a fumble. Recovered by the receiving team.
See what the penalty is here, too, on the play. Remember earlier in the game, Carson Strong strip sacked, and the Wolfpack recovered the fumble. Here, Doubs recovers the muff. Two hiccups, but it appears that both are going to go the way of the Wolfpack. Romeo Doubs, that won't take away from his night. That's for sure.
He's not too concerned about it.
137 yards, averaging just a hair under 20 per catch. Here's the call.
Media timeout.
All right. So they pick up the flag after all that.
Okay.
And that's our cue to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
I really appreciate that Patrick Price on my insurance, Jake, from State Farm. Being a champ has its perks.
Here's the deal, Patrick. State Farm offers everyone's...
Or not. Nevada trying to get organized on defense. So Peasley fires incomplete. Threw it into a maze of Navy jerseys intended for Savon Scarver, and fourth down comes up again.
Yeah, he was trying to hit Savon Scarver on that deep in route, that dig route. In order to do that, got to get it up and over that defender at the second level. Just a little bit short. It looked like Savon Scarver had a window to get to as well, but I would imagine there's some... For Andrew Peasley, it's got to be getting warmed up a little bit, get his legs under him a little bit.
This will be fair caught at the Nevada 25 by Charles Ross. Sunday on Fox, the Panthers take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, while the Raiders square off with breakout rookie quarterback Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Check your local listings for the game in your area. I'd say hard luck, Justin Herbert, based on the way he's played.
Really? How about that, huh? After his Oregon career, being as drafted as high as he was, I think there were some people that had questions of him coming out of Eugene, saying, I didn't see him play at as high of a level as I expected based off his physical attributes. I mean, he's been arguably one of the most impressive quarterbacks in the league the last few weeks.
Carson Strong back to work. It's an incomplete pass intended for Justin Lockhart. Didn't have a white jersey nearby. Second down.
We see Carson Strong, kind of a design rollout here to his right. Got Cole Turner in front of him, giving him extra protection. Just a little low and out in front of Justin Lockhart for a throw tonight. He hasn't missed many of them now. He's a 75% passer on the year, but leaves that one a little ahead of Justin Lockhart.
Second down, Strong completes to Melquan Stovall. Gain of 8, excuse me. Bring up 3rd and 2. Well, if Utah State wants to get back into this game, obviously they've struggled offensively, but they need to get stops. Last 3 Nevada drives have all ended in touchdowns. 3rd and 2. Incomplete pass intended for Torrey Horton. And it brings up 4th down. Will we see them go for it again?
That would be an aggressive move at this point in the game, kind of back in your own opportunity for him to learn from one of the greatest of all time in Aaron Rodgers.
Beasley gets a handful on 1st down. Love became just the 5th player in Utah State history to be selected in the 1st round of the NFL draft.
And again, I think in bringing up Jordan Love and what he meant to this team, it also brings to light what they've lost from last year, right? Gerald Bright, their running back, their main back, CLC Mariner, their best receiver. And in week 1 against Boise State, this Utah State football team took the field, and 15 guys that had never played a down for Utah State were part of that attack. And they weren't all freshmen. Some were transfers, like Jason Shelley coming over from Utah. But Gary Anderson knows this is a process, right? He's in year 2, and he's got his work cut out for him here. And especially in a year like this in 2020, hasn't had the time to really break these guys in. So teams that have more continuity, like a Nevada offensively, where they've had this staff in place now for their 4th year, there's an obvious advantage, coming into games like this.
3rd and short here. Beasley, hand off to Warren. He gets the 1st down. Boy, if they could get Warren going, it might give him a little bit of hope here.
I will say, and we know Warren didn't play last week. He was available, as we heard, but he was on the sideline and never actually played. I don't think he looks 100% tonight. I don't think he looks like he has quite the burst that we saw in week 1 at times against Boise State. We've seen Devontae Henry Cole out there as well to probably kind of keep Jaylen Warren on a little bit of a snap count.
Beasley fires incomplete, intended for Devin Tompkins. Haven't called his name much tonight.
And that's been the problem, right? In the drop back game and the play action game, when these quarterbacks get to the back of their drop, pushing the ball down the field, whether it's Andrew Beasley or whether it's Jason Shelley, pushing the ball down the field with accuracy. Like the downfield passing game for this offense has been almost non-existent. And so defenses just don't have to play it honest. There's a lot they can do to try to take Jaylen Warren away. Got to take some shots out there and start getting some completions.
There's Warren. Able to slip by the tackle. Nice arm tackle made by Lawson Hall, the senior from California. Pick up a 5, 3rd 5 upcoming.
The staff on Utah State was also looking forward to seeing their offensive line respond after last week against San Diego State. They look at San Diego State's defensive front like a defense playing a triple option attack. It's such a different way of playing football that San Diego State does. They move their fronts around so much. They stem defensive linemen. They have all these exotic-looking fronts, and it's tough for an offensive line. So they were looking at this as being a little more of a traditional look.
On 3rd down, Beasley nowhere close to Jordan Nathan, the intended target. That's been a frustrating night for the Aggies offense, and Andrew Beasley's 2nd series comes to a close.
Well, he had a matchup out there that he liked with Jordan Nathan against Amani Johnson on the outside, and Jordan Nathan pushed up to about 15 yards, then just collided with the safety and didn't avoid him. He's trying to throw the out route and just got kind of tripped up.
This will bounce and roll down to the 10-yard line. And a punt. 46 yards. Tomorrow night, the biggest games out west this year. Undefeated BYU heads to Boise. Clash with the rival Broncos. It's a top 25 showdown. BYU off to their best start since 2001. Zach Wilson, Heisman contender. Boise State, potent offense. They're 5-0 at home against BYU all time. 9:45 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on FS1.
Well, how about Kalani Sitake's squad, BYU, and what they've been able to do, especially Zach Wilson. You referenced him. 528 yards a game and 44.4 points per game. They have been so explosive offensively. But this will be by far their best competition in Boise State. They have not played anybody to date that really has given them much of a challenge. So be a good test to see where BYU's at, as well as Boise, too. Undefeated team, too. Hank Bachmeier, their quarterback, has had a good start to the season. They're going to have something to say about that. It's going to be a good matchup.
Big for this league, too. They have always a slew of good teams at the top. This year you've got Boise and San Diego State. And this Nevada team, if they can make a statement here, maybe they can crack the top 25 next week. Here's Taua running downhill. Look out! Taua finally hauled down inside the Utah State 30 as he rips off a big run. 60 yards.
Well, it's a numbers game once again, and when Carson Strong turnarounds and hands it off, he likes what he sees on the defense. And it's the one-on-one matchups out in space that the running backs have to win. And that time, number 33, Kevin Metzenheimer from the Utah State defense comes up and tries to make a tackle and just sees a nasty stiff arm from Toa Taua.
Yeah, they're still going with Justin Lockhart getting 7 on first down.
I also credit on a play like that these receivers on the outside. Now remember, this is an air raid offense, right? Or we're led to believe. So it's air raid personnel. And these receivers on the outside, they are blocking physically, because big chunk plays like that in the run game, they only happen if your receivers are willing to block people down the field. And every receiver in that play had their hands on a defender to spring Toa Taua loose for a big game.
If the route wasn't on before, the way Nevada has sprinted away here. 28 unanswered points. Taua's run, by the way, at 60 yards, second longest of his career. Devontae Lee now. Looked like he was about to be stopped up in the backfield. Fights for a couple of extra yards. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, a lot of three-man fronts so far for Utah State, meaning you'll see here 3 guys up on the line of scrimmage. And those players, those linebackers at the second level are 3 to 4 yards off the ball, and they're not coming downhill. That ball is handed off. So it's not difficult for this Nevada offensive line to get and cover up those defensive linemen. And you're looking at easily 3 to 4 yards a clip on plays like that that don't really look very valuable for the Nevada offense.
Wildcat, direct snap to Devontae Lee. He has the first down. He wanted more.
Boy, Devontae Lee at 5'9", 235. That's a physical back. And he's their go-to option in these short yardage, goal line situations. You'll see him a lot inside the 5-yard line. Really is built like a fullback, and he's physical as heck, and he will run you over. And that's his bread and butter right there with a direct snap.
Because Taua missed the season opener. Lee by yardage as Utah State's leading rusher coming into the day. First down for the Pack. Strong, unable to get away. He's sacked back at the 30-yard line. Good to see Justice Ta'i back in the game as part of this.
Well, you'll see Marcus Moore come off the edge at the bottom of your screen, 95. Does a great job with his hands. But they also brought the corner blitz there. Number 7, Xavion Steele. He was going to get there, too. So a little bit lapse in coverage. Aaron Frost, the right tackle, gets beat by Marcus Moore. They didn't have an answer, too, to Xavion Steele screaming off the edge. That left Romeo Doubs uncovered, too, for a good 4 to 5 seconds. Carson Strong didn't see it.
First sack of the season for Moore. No matter for Taua as he powers ahead to the 20. Still a long ways to go on this 3rd down.
Or Taua's made a living there on the outside. 6 catches today, catching those swing routes for now 40 yards, and does a good job getting his eyes around quickly, expecting the football. You see getting a nice little lead block from his offensive lineman, right tackle Aaron Frost as well. Had a little issue on the play before, but goes and redeems himself out in the open field against the defensive back.
Gotta believe Taua will get all conference consideration before long. Freshman of the year in the Mountain West 2 years ago. On 3rd down, pressure coming. Strong over the middle, incomplete. Troy Leffridge was hovering. Made a play on the ball. Brings up 4th down.
Oh, I think there was a miscommunication on that play. Justin Lockhart and Romeo Doubs kind of ended up in the same area on the field. And it's interesting because Romeo Doubs and Cole Turner kind of did a little bit of a switch release. And Romeo Doubs is running wide open down the middle of the field.
Great completion for Andrew Peasley.
And this staff, too, what you're seeing from this Nevada team and this explosion so far this year, and if they're able to hang on here tonight, getting to 3-0, which is their goal here, it really is a culmination of building this thing over the last couple of years, right? Now this is the 4th year for Jay Norvell, and we asked the Utah State defensive staff, we said, you know, what makes this offense so successful? He said, they've just made a commitment to what they want to do, and they're in a position now where they can actually do that because they've got enough continuity with their personnel. And so for Jay Norvell being 20-20 as a head coach so far at Nevada, winning 7 regular season games each of the last 2 years, you really feel like this year, what we've seen so far, that things are really starting to come together for this program under Jay Norvell.
Got some trivia for you. One of the last time Nevada started the season 3-0?
I'm going to go ahead and guess 2010.
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
Colin Kaepernick, 13-1. Almost ran the table in the WAC. He's something. A team that is perennially a threat in the Mountain West as Utah State has another 3-and-out here.
Boy, since Andrew Peasley entered the game, they've clearly made more of a commitment, either with play calling or Andrew Peasley himself has done it, to push the ball down the field a bit more. He's just been off target. He's been the better part of the game so far on the sideline. This is a big ask to come in and do this stuff, but they've had some opportunities. They've just missed a couple throws down the field.
Not a great punt, but it'll take a Utah State roll down to the 28. Rocket Mortgage, built for success. For the personalized playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
Oh, that nice little stiff arm by To'otawa in the second half. He set some big chunk plays set up by the nice blocking down the field from the wide receivers. Again, it's a numbers game for this Nevada offense. Carson Strong sees what he likes. He's going to turn it on, turn around, hand it off to To'otawa, and he's consistently won those matchups in the open field against the secondary of Utah State. A nice physical runner that's got plenty of burst in the open field, too. A great weapon for this offense.
Strong continues to be dynamic, and he continues to find receivers. Cole Turner, another first down.
And again, we've mentioned this before, but these guys on the outside for Nevada, paired with their quarterback, it's far too talented of a group to let Carson Strong just sit back there and assess this thing like he has. Now, I'm not sure what the answer is for Utah State, because if you start bringing pressure and sacrificing coverage on the back end and adding linebackers in the blitzes, now you put guys on an island with guys like Romeo Doubs and Cole Turner, and that's a big ask too. So, again, what we're seeing on display is just the threat that Nevada possesses, both from their air raid passing scheme and having the right personnel mixed in, and their willingness to turn around and give the ball to a stud like To'otawa. It is a potent offense. It's been on full display tonight.
And you got a third stringer, Avery Morrow, who just ripped off 18. Freshman. As Lockhart reels in this grab, and the Wolfpack are just pouring it on now. This time it's Jared Reed, the transfer from Portland State, who got it.
Jared Reed flies off the right side, off the edge, and it's the running back's responsibility there. Number 25, Avery Morrow, doesn't get there quick enough, and I think initially he didn't see him and was going to step up more into the interior of the offensive line. Saw him late. Too late, though, and Jared Reed gets around and makes that play.
Third sack of the ball game. Third and 8. Play clock winding down. And I don't know if Strong got it off. Stovall makes the catch here. Utah State arguing that timer had run down. Let's see. Might be something else afoot here.
Prior to snap, delay game, number 12, offense. After the snap, late hit, unnecessary roughness, number 51, defense. 15 yards from that spot, automatic first down.
That's an after-the-play penalty, so those will not offset, obviously, and they'll both be applied. And Nevada will hang on to the football. You know, Alex, tonight as we watch Utah State's approach here, there's been the more teams around the country that adopt this kind of air raid scheme and this air raid philosophy, there's been a movement defensively to not pressure as much, right? Sit back, drop 8, drop 7, rush 8, or rush 3, or rush 4. And we've seen it work quite a bit. Like against Mike Leach teams, we've seen it work. Now, he's down at Mississippi State. LSU elected to play him a lot of man-to-man in week 1. And with KJ Costello down at Mississippi State, he tore him apart. But when he was at Washington State, teams did that quite a bit. Washington, Cal did that to him and gave him a ton of fits. But the problem is most teams can't run the ball like this that have that air raid philosophy. And so if you're going to do that, if you're going to be light in the box, if you're going to drop guys into coverage, if you're going to have 3-man fronts, you know, most teams don't have a back like this in Toa and an offensive line that's willing to cut their splits down and be physical in the run game. And that's what makes this offense in this conference so unique, right? Yes, there's air raid pass principles, but, you know, it's funny because Jay Norvell kind of laughed. And again, I mentioned run split, so we're talking right here, right? These are maybe 2 to 2.5 yards. A lot of air raid teams spread those out to well over 3 yards because they want to widen the field and make it longer for pass rushers to get to the quarterback. They want to make more angles for the pass rushers because it's all about passing the football. And you're kind of willing to give up running the football. And so that's what's really interesting about this team. And asking Jay Norvell, hey, you know, you guys got the air raid label that people love to talk about, yet you guys are willing to run up and pound the football. And he just laughed. He said, look, you guys call it the air raid thing all you want. What I call it the Nevada offense, right? That's what we're going to do. And we mentioned last week, 27 passes, 27 runs. It's a mentality. If you can master the passing game the way they have and still have a willingness to line up and do it, you can change the way people think in 2020 about defending the air raid, which has been a lot of drop 8 and rush 3.
Strong to the sideline, overthrows Dubs. Well, that's the dimension for Nevada that maybe will vault them into the conversation in the Mountain West.
Yeah, again, I mentioned, you know, Boise State being a heavy favorite as we're going to get another chance here on, see if they'll go for it here on 4th down. Boise State being the favorite, and teams like Nevada, Wyoming, San Diego State feeling like they can vie for a Mountain West title. No divisions this year. They'll just take the top 2 teams in the conference, and they'll do it based off winning percentage because not every team's playing the same amount of games.
Tawa already over 100 yards. And again, a 4th down conversion. That's their 3rd of the night.
When you've been this efficient offensively, why look to your punter on 3rd down? Well, excuse me, on 4th down. And you've got a guy in Carson Strong that is willing to not force it, not make mistakes. Been very patient, taking what the defense gives him, willing to dump it out in the flat to Toa. Playmakers on the outside. And like we see just now here on 4th down on 4th and 2. Once again out to Toa in the flat, who's done an excellent job catching the football tonight.
Beg your pardon, it is the 4th conversion tonight on 4th down. Tawa's career high, just for reference, is 170s and 104 plus right now.
Yeah. You might ask too, like, who is this offense seen this year, right? UNLV last week. Well, week 1, Wyoming. Greg Bowl team that's a pretty well-coached defense. And they had their way against Wyoming for the most part offensively. They do not play Boise this year in the regular season.
Yeah.
So they could meet them potentially in the Mountain West Conference Championship game.
Wouldn't that be something?
Interesting miss for them in the regular season, though.
Lockhart. It's another first.
That's the easy throw and catch out in the flat. Carson Strong to Justin Lockhart, who again referenced has had a role that's increased significantly in the absence of Elijah Cooks, one of their best receivers from a year ago, who continues to be out with an injury. And I mentioned what this offense did against Wyoming just a couple weeks ago. Carson Strong was 75% passer, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So they have seen a very good defense already this year.
And it's still 0 interceptions. As Dubs gets cut down in the backfield by Shaq Bond. And now Strong He's over 400 yards passing for the night.
I think as we get later into the fourth quarter here, you see they're going to give a reverse to Romeo Doubs. Probably, if I'm Jay Norvell and I'm Matt Mumme, I'm probably limiting Romeo Doubs' exposure on the perimeter to hits like that. Yes, this game is not over, but at the same time, like with how this thing has played out, limiting how many hits I expose Romeo Doubs to, given how important he is to this offense moving forward.
I think it pretty much make it over with score here. Strong still buying time and flips it away.
Yeah, that's the other difficult part here. We saw Jared Reed come off the edge earlier in this possession and get a sack. But oftentimes we've seen them rush three tonight. At times they've added Nick Henninger, who's a little bit more athletic as a linebacker, into the blitz as well, or excuse me, into the pass rush. But right there, you have Justice Tae coming off. These are mostly defensive linemen that are rushing the quarterback tonight. And that's just not difficult for Carson Strong to get away from that pass rush and sidestep some of those rushers. We're not talking about athletic linebackers off the edge. Yes, Justice Tae is a good pass rusher for a defensive lineman, but not hard for Carson Strong to get away.
Strong incomplete here, aiming for Lockhart. Bring up fourth down. So another attempt here for Brandon Talton coming. Still perfect on the season, 4 for 4. Former all-conference selection. Well, the aim is to get this Nevada program that's always been a contender elevate and be a favorite. They're in the conversation now. 26-yard attempt for Talton. Chip shot by his standards. And it is good for Talton. Thumbs up from Carson Strong. Nice night. Another 400-yard night for the QB. Stadium in Reno, and the home team enjoying a comfortable lead. Nevada Wolfpack getting votes in the coaches poll this week. Everybody's got the big tilts. It's not even a conference game tomorrow circled on the calendar. Boise and BYU. Won't have any bearing on the Mountain West Championship, but massive game in terms of college football playoff implications for BYU.
Yeah, we talked about BYU, what Zach Wilson's done this year. This will be their best competition to date by far in Boise State, who's also got a lot to prove as well. And then on the big noon kickoff is Arizona State and USC, the Pac-12 opener. Those are the top two teams in the Pac-12 South. That's a great matchup with two young quarterbacks in Jaden Daniels and Keaton Slovis. And then CFP implications. Let's talk about Clemson and Notre Dame. No Trevor Lawrence. How does DJ Uiagalelei look against this Notre Dame team? Can Clemson afford a loss? A lot of great questions for that game.
Jason Shelley is back at quarterback, and he gets a rude greeting from Daniel Grisiak.
Now, we talked about that Clemson-Notre Dame matchup and what DJ Uiagalelei did last week. 73% of his passes completed, 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. As we see this Nevada defense find a way to get to Jason Shelley, who's checked back into the football game.
Credit the sack to Amir Johnson.
Some good matchups coming up this weekend, though.
Yes.
A lot of good ones.
I wonder for Clemson, if they do falter, how much weight will be given to the fact that Trevor Lawrence is not available?
Sure.
Pitch to Devin Tompkins.
I mean, you want to talk about a hypothetical. If Clemson were to lose this game and then win out the rest of the year, it's going to bring those questions of, well, they got one loss to Notre Dame, and let's say Notre Dame ends up losing one game to Clemson in the ACC championship game.
What happens every year in the SEC? You know, Pounds and 137 for Romeo Doubs.
Probably most importantly for this staff, too, comes into the game 230 pass attempts, no interceptions. Add 52 more pass attempts to that total, putting us at 282 pass attempts, no interceptions, number 1 in America in that regard.
And Nevada has now scored in every quarter they've played this season. One of only 5 teams in FBS football to do that. Toa Taua's not done. has another dozen to add to his 100-yard rushing night.
Boy, his physical style along with, watch this little sidestep here on Elijah Sheldon. How about that in the open field? For a guy that's physical, can stiff arm you, can run you over, to have that kind of lateral movement in the open field is a great fit for this system too.
Showed you moments ago, new quarterback in for Nevada is Nate Cox. 6'9", 225 pounds. As Avery Morrow gets the carry here. Cox has an interesting backstory of coming to Nevada in the first place. When he was recruited here, he was effectively told, hey, you're not our guy. You're not going to start. We have a 3-year guy in front of you in Carson Strong. If you want to come here, that's your prerogative. You have to be okay with that. And to his credit, has really wanted to soak it in here and learn and be the backup guy. 2 seasons at Louisiana Tech before transferring in. Charles Ross turns the corner and moves the chains.
That's an interesting point, too, because sometimes when you get, whether it's a true freshman or a sophomore that has a ton of success, recruiting does become a little more difficult, right? Because guys look at that and say, well, unless he bails early and goes to the NFL, like, you guys aren't going to have a void there for a while. And so it's on the staff. Matt Mumme, Jay Norvell, finding ways to get guys like this to still come to Nevada when you've got a talented young passer like Carson Strong. Sure is important this year, though. You never know when you're going to lose a guy to testing and COVID and all the stuff surrounding it with protocols. So the depth is really important in all these positions.
Honestly, Nevada has been trying their best to be well equipped for that this year with split practices and getting their number 2s reps here. Curious to see how the season pans out for Nevada. They will hit the road next, play at New Mexico. Now, there are some interesting protocols with New Mexico and quarantining. They had to play their first home game on the road in San Jose, so we'll see where that game gets played next week as Cox gets ripped down. A.J. Vaughn with the tackle. Here is the schedule. San Diego State looms large.
Yeah, that's the one, right? 5 remaining regular season games left, 8 total. 9 including the championship game if they get there. And they don't play Boise State in the regular season. Now, if you're Jay Norvell, that's the miss you probably want, right? If I'm not going to see them, I'd rather it be in the championship game. But you look at that schedule right now, and San Diego State is a tough football team. But with the way this Nevada team looks, you're thinking that sizes up pretty nicely down the stretch.
Good shift to the offense, the penalty here. 4:55 remaining. And what has been a fairly complete night for Nevada. They had a hiccup to begin, but got through the letdown that we expected.
Yeah,
or maybe worried about for them.
Yeah, and coming off last week, too, after having so much success against UNLV, let's get another procedural penalty here, and this is kind of the communication stuff that happens when some of the backups get into the game.
Ball start, number 81, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Following a game like last week where you had so much success against UNLV, coaches tend to nitpick the smaller stuff even more because they know you won the game and they can be a little harder on you. Coming out of last week, Jay Norvell kind of chuckled and said, look, I thought we left 3 touchdowns on the field, right? Missed opportunities, and I don't think he cares who they're playing. He wants to see them execute. I think that mindset has gotten them to where they are so far, right? It's been a process since he got there. Go back to 0-5 they started his first year. They've come a long way. And it starts with this core of his quarterback and wide receivers.
Is this intercepted? Troy Leffridge was out.
Or if that were a pick, we might need to make a public service announcement. That was not Carson Strong. Yes, Nevada threw a pick for the first time in 300 pass attempts or whatever it is, but it was not Carson Strong. Looks like Troy Leffridge is barely out of bounds on that, but he thinks he was in.
Honestly, college rules give foot down. That was pretty close. They are going to review this because it's a change of possession. By the way, in case you're curious on the number, it is now 282 consecutive pass attempts without an interception. The conference record of the Mountain West is Derek Carr's 306 for Fresno State years ago.
That is now in jeopardy.
Yeah.
That'll happen next week if you can take care of the ball. So we see here this Troy Lefford steps in front of the receiver. Does he get control and a body part down in bounds? It's hard to tell where that left foot is. Yeah, that right foot is in. It's hard, but from that angle, the control element has to happen first. Control, that left foot looks like it's simultaneous, right, out of bounds, at least from that angle. If clear and obvious is the standard, you and I should both agree on it when we glance at it, right?
Yeah.
Like, clear and obvious to me is like my 6-year-old walks in the room and goes, oh, yeah, that's, like, that's clear and obvious to me, right?
That should be how we rename the test in the rule book.
Yeah.
All right, we have word.
After review of the play, the ruling stands. 4th down.
This will be a punt for Nevada. Well, the Reno Gazette called last week's victory over UNLV Jay Norvell's signature win so far. I don't know if this is a signature win, but this is confirmation for sure what we saw last week.
Yeah, it's good to see him come back on a short week and respond again. Look, again, last week, UNLV, their rival, their in-state rival, had beaten them twice in a row, right? And so to beat their rival the way they did, you certainly understand.
Oh, dear.
That's a little bit early.
Yeah. That'll be a penalty.
To beat their rival the way they did is important, right, for this program and taking that next step forward. And that was impressive fashion last week. And then on a short week to bounce back with this kind of performance. As you see here, the receiver, Jordan Nathan, returning the kick. That's going to be kick-catch interference.
Jamal Bell, true freshman, plays both sides on special teams.
Kick-catch interference. Number 3, kicking team. 15 yards added to the end of the spot of the kick. 1st down.
Well, maybe the only game that matters all year is the one they want.